Hey guys, welcome to episode 5 of completing the WGU computer science degree. So it's been another 2 weeks, and boy has it been quite a busy past 2 weeks. There's been a little bit of family drama and a little bit of uh, more work than usual at my job, and I've also been doing discrete mathematics 1 along with all that at the same time. So I'm definitely feeling a little bit more fatigued than usual, but I'm making sure that these past 2 days I'm gonna get some rest, and thought I'd make this video to sort of uh, recap what discrete mathematics 1 was like and how I did on the exam. So I took the exam and I passed with exemplary on pretty much all sections, and it took me about 9 to 10 days to study, basically starting from no knowledge of the material at all to basically being proficient enough to sort of score really, really high marks in all sections. And I guess the best way I could sort of show you guys what the material looks like, since it's like sort of a quantitative course, I could just sort of take you over to my monitor and I'll just give some commentary. And I think that, in all honesty, it seems very similar to all like the qualitative courses, except rather than sort of memorizing vocab, you're kind of like solving quantitative problems. And then through solving quantitative problems, you get sort of better and better at learning the actual material. So let me log into WGU. And one thing I want to sort of point out is that sometimes you can actually change like the background color. Since it's white right now, I could actually turn it to black. And I sort of have like the colors inverted when I'm sort of studying it late at night, but I'll just keep it white for now. So in discrete mathematics 1, if I open this up, it has the same sort of format as all the other previous courses. One thing I really like doing when I sort of open up a new course, I like looking at the course chatter to see like tips people leave behind, so I can understand the best ways to study and the best ways to prepare for the final exam. Now, if I go to the course material, WGU has this administered through a third party called Zybooks, and for those of you who are sort of looking at WGU, you might have heard Zybooks since it is the first since Calculus 1 is taken on the same sort of format. So this is also administered through discrete math, and luckily enough, it's not as difficult as Calculus 1 from what I've heard. All the sort of units are split up. So you have unit 1 through 7, and each unit covers like a specific category. So unit 7 is obviously the most complex. It deals with the graphs and trees, and looking at this, it would make absolutely no sense what's going on, because in order to understand graphs and trees, you have to understand matrices, and in order to understand matrices, you have to understand truth tables and logic. So each unit sort of builds on top of each other. And what I did was I just went through unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, and then did basically most of the participation questions. So I guess I could show you guys I'll show you guys matrices and then graphs, since I think those two were like the most interesting units. So if I go into sort of unit 4, which is matrices, you'll notice that basically it reads kind of like an online textbook. As you're reading it, you basically learn what the material actually is, then you solve a bunch of basic questions, and then it'll tell you if you're right or wrong. Then you read a whole bunch of more material, and you can see like how the material sort of explains it. I think this is super interactive, in all honesty. Like, some of the activities are rather than just sort of solving questions, it actually literally like does all like the stuff for you and like explain what it is. So it's really cool. It's like a digital online textbook, and it has sort of practice questions and then lots and lots of practice problems. So and at the bottom you have the lesson summary that sort of discusses what happens on that page. So same thing as before, you read a bunch of material, you solve a bunch of questions, and in all honesty, I think that it is way, way easier to like actually solve the questions rather than like trying to understand like this material. Like, if I read this, I would be like, what is going on here? I have no idea what's going on. This is too difficult. But once they sort of like, once you start like solving the questions and you start like watching how like everything sort of flows when they explain it, like this is like multiplying matrices, for example. It's so difficult to understand what's happening here, But when they sort of break it down step by step, it's like, oh, this is how you multiply a matrix. It sort of, takes the rows and then it multiplies by the column of the second matrix. And then it'll just do that for each one. And I thought this tool was so helpful. And like when I started to like study for the final, I actually went back and like watched all these like participation activity tools, only because it just so cleanly explained how everything worked for each page. So yeah, it's pretty much like this: matrices, solving problems, and I'll also show you guys what graphs looks like. And so basically it just repeats like that for pretty much all the modules. And then you'll also get a little bit of pseudocode at the very end for discrete math. Like you'll sort of understand how like tree traversals work, how breadth first search and depth first search works, and yeah, like this participation activity literally shows how breadth first search works. And I've seen this in a data structures textbook, and I had no idea what was going on because I didn't know anything about algorithms. But this just kind of explains it, and it's like super cool because it's all visual and it's all sort of explained right there for you. So I really like all this sort of formatting and sort of explaining the material. And this is sort of a pseudocode on what's going on in breadth first search. So I'm actually in discrete math 2 right now, and there's a lot more pseudocode. So there's no really sort of programming at all in unit 1 through 7. This is all just like building logic tables and understanding like series, sets, different operations, different sort of laws and like limits and rules, and sort of setting you up for discrete math 2, which is very computer science based, and it feels way more like an actual programming course than discrete math 1. So yeah, that was discrete math 1 and discrete math 2. I'm just going through unit 1 right now, and you could sort of see here like you got sort of algorithms like while loops, for loops, big O, and then I think later on they got like modeling, and I think there was somewhere here we got like recursion, right here, unit 3 recursion. So I'll be interested in seeing what that's like. But yeah, no programming in discrete math 1. So I will take it away from my screen. And so yeah, that brings me to today. I finished discrete math 1 in about 9 days. I kind of split up my studying for 1 unit each day, and that was super intense. I don't I don't recommend it. The only reason why I was going so fast was because I started to realize that the faster I took this final exam, the faster I would sort of be able to retain all the material I sort of memorized. So I think the pacing helps, especially for taking the final. And I wouldn't want to sort of spend too long to like wait before I take the final. But yeah, that was very fatiguing, especially while there was like a whole bunch of other stuff happening while I was studying for WGU. I hope to sort of complete discrete math 2 somewhere in the next 2 weeks. I've heard through my mentor that discrete math 2 is a little bit harder than discrete math 1, only because there's a lot of sort of data structures and algorithms in it, and I got to sort of learn quickly on that. And yeah, I think that once it sort of comes around where I take discrete math 2, the final exam, that I'll be moving on to the actual sort of data structure courses at WGU, and I'll get to actually programming in a real programming language. And from what I've heard, it's going to be in Python. So my next video will probably start breaking into a programming language. And so that's all for this week, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.